Thank you for having me today. Nash, Martinez, Veronica, appreciate all of you for allowing me to come here today. I decided to take today to kind of talk to you guys about your future, about the future of your life, to encourage you. Yes, I'd like to encourage people, so I'm going to encourage you. I want to motivate you. I want to inspire every single person here, because there was a time when I was sitting right where you are right now. There was a time when I knew that my future was going to hold something, but I didn't know what it was going to hold. There was a time in my life when I was sitting right where you guys are, where I had no idea what my future was going to unfold. I just could not tell the future. My future was dull for a certain amount of time. I didn't have any type of ambition. I didn't have any type of dream, a real dream that could be that can be achieved. I honestly couldn't think of anything. I really couldn't. It wasn't until just recently, really, I remember that I started this company way back when, 2012. I was 12 years old at the time. I started this company called Cronsoft with one of my friends. His name was Caden Lewis. He's a music producer now, I imagine, doing his own thing. And when me and him first started the company, we didn't necessarily know the way of the game, meaning that we didn't know business. We didn't know the business world, the science of business. Nor did we have any type of plan for the company. We just kind of launched it. We had an idea, and we just kind of launched it, not knowing where the company was going to take us next, which is dangerous when you want to start a company. You always want to know, at least have an idea of where you want to take your company eventually, right? Or you really want to know where you're going to take your company once you start it, right? I mean, it's like driving a car. You're not just going to drive aimlessly and see where the car is going to get you, because you're eventually going to run out of gas and going to be at a destination you don't want to be, right? We wanted to drive this business and make sure that we knew where we wanted to take it. At the time, we didn't know. We just knew that we would be a successful company, which for a certain amount of time we were, and we knew that we wanted to make computers more operable. So that's what we did. Our mission was to take the computer and to make it a bit more convenient for the average person. Because there are lots of people out there that don't know computers as well as others, right? A huge chunk of Americans don't necessarily know the ins and outs of the operating system. And that's of course true for many people. I myself was kind of born into it, so naturally it came to me. But there's others that I've known that weren't born into it. And so they need a computer that fits those types of people, right? And also those that are experts could also grapple with this to make their lives much more easier, right? I mean, for example, let's take Linux, for example, Linux operating system. Let's say Linux Mint. You know, it's one of those operating systems where you pretty much need to know what you're doing. Because if you don't know what you're doing, it's only good as using the internet, maybe the user interface, the graphical user interface, everything. It's good, but again, you're pretty much going to be limited, because in order to download certain tools or certain programs onto that operating system, because the majority of the software online is pretty much coded for Windows, you'd have to use the terminal to either access the program, if it can't be accessed online, or to even download the program. You would need to require to use the terminal, or you had to download Wine, which you still need to use the terminal to be able to use programs built for Windows onto the operating system. You want to do that. Maybe if you want a bit of a intro feel to how it's like to kind of hack things, I guess that's kind of your way to go, but it's kind of very far from hacking, though. It's kind of like the feeling, for a first timer. You just want to go there, download the software, easy download, and then that's it, right? So that's why I always say, if you want to have Linux, you have to be very good with computers, or you have to be some type of computer expert, because Linux is obviously not for the average person. So the benefits, however, is some that Windows doesn't have, but others it does have. It has that basic Windows Visa, Windows 7 type look, but it's a little bit different. Most of the stuff there is a bit more customizable than Windows. Stuff that's not customizable in Windows is customizable with Linux, right? And so, examples like that, even with Windows, too, it's easy to use, but then again, there's still those, that huge cluster of people that still don't necessarily know how to use it. All they know how to do is access the internet. Maybe you download files. That's it. I remember earlier last month, I was at a church friend's house, and they needed help with their computer. And they told me what was wrong with it, how one of their relatives downloaded files into like a bunch of pictures from an external device onto the computer, and he was like, there's all these pictures of those from what was inside the camera. When she converted over, it's now over my desktop. I don't know how to get rid of it, right? And I went. They took me upstairs to the room. Nice setup, nice computer setup. And then he showed me what was wrong with the computer. It was a little bit slow too, so I had to defragment the drive and optimize it afterwards. But he didn't know how to remove those pictures. He didn't know how to take those pictures and put them in a folder, and then put them in the picture folder, or just put them in the folder, keep it on the desktop for easy access. Of course, he was in his advanced age, maybe the thing. But see, if one needs to use a computer, they need to be able to use it efficient, like using the bathroom. They know already what to do. That's how I like to style it. And so at that time, when I was 12 with my friend, we wanted to do just that: make the computer, accessible, easy to use, DIU, do it yourself for every single person, everybody. We came up with so much ideas: voice activation, retinal scan, identification, thumbprint identification, voice recognition, identification, access to unlock the computer, a whole host of others, and we managed to come down with a few prototypes. We sold a few. We just didn't know how to financially handle the company. Again, we did hire other people, but we didn't hire the right people. And it just, after about a couple of months, I think 4 months, it went down. Not only that, but we would customize computers that were already bought from other companies. So let's say you have a Dell computer, well then we would obviously retrofit it and then resell it a bit more than what was originally paid for to buy it, which is not really good, right? Because you're, without permission from Dell, and all that kind of junk, and it was messed up the way the process was. But we managed to become millionaires. Yes, in a series of months, we got a lot of buyers. Every single person that worked with us became millionaires, and we were doing extremely well. But we were very young again, so we didn't know the common sense of business at the time. So even though we were doing financially bad, there were ways to get out of it. I could have put my own capital into the company and make sure how to handle it. We could have appointed an adult to be CEO, right? And from the business world, of course, with the experience that's good with business. We could have done that. We could have asked for help. We could have asked for advisors. Parents were not utilized. They were just kind of supporters. And they eventually failed. And then I thought just recently, okay, that failed. But now I know a hell of a lot more of business. I've opened up a series of companies in midpoint between then and now that were successful, that I gave to other people because I couldn't handle it. Or actually, not that I couldn't handle it, because I was too busy to handle it. I guess that's the thing. With school and science conferences and science competitions and all that kind of junk and work, couldn't handle it. So I had to give it to the other individuals. But I had the majority shares in those companies, so that's the only hand I've had in those individual companies. Other than that, they're all doing independent. And it wasn't until recently when I was like, well, I should revisit, that company I made when I was 12. We called it Cronsoft, and this time I'll be in charge of it. I realized that, I had a computer group I created from transitioning from 8th grade to freshman year of high school. I made this computer club with one of the substitute teachers in my middle school at the time. He kind of helped us create it, and he met us on the other side. He managed to get a substitution job to a full-time job in my high school. And together we founded this supercomputer group, which we made supercomputers. foundation. People, the right type of people, all centralized in the same room, working to build supercomputers. And we also have individuals that's good with software. We're good with people who are good with organization. We had the right formula. So I thought, well, why not? So I resurrected Cronsoft, not the chill place, because we originally called it the chill place, because we originally started my own home, and we would just kind of chill around coding from 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. and feed off of canned food and cereal, and we watch movies for a huge chunk of the time and go back to coding, etc. Then became a bit more professional, give ourselves an actual name that people can use, etc. But I went back to the chill place, the name. Now it's called the SCC Group, Supercomputer Collective Group, which we're going to change it up a bit, but the SCC sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? So now that's the name of my company presently. We're small, about a company of 15. And so with that computer group, I managed to make a company from it. We're small, but we're very powerful. We've created, I think, 3 supercomputers so far. All of them efficient, extremely efficient. We gave one to the English department. I think we also provided one for the agricultural design, and now we're making a third one with different materials, more advanced and present materials than old ancient tech. And you're looking at the president and co-founder of the SCC group. Mm-hmm. And yes, thank you. So yeah, and it was a bit of a hustle, but and of course I'm not here to tell you about my own life success. Today I wanted to talk about how you can also be successful, because I went from down here to up here. I went from knowing little to knowing a lot. When I was younger, I wanted to know everything. I wanted to be the smartest person in the world. I really did. But again, you can't have everything that you want. You can be smart. You just can't be the smartest. You can be the smartest in your own right. You just can't be the smartest in the world. Because there are many smart people in this world. Some are smarter than others, but you just can't say one is smarter than this other person, because this so-called genius, there's stuff that he doesn't know that this person knows. So in that genius's eyes, that person is genius compared to him, because that person knows stuff that he doesn't know, right? So you just can't say there's not one person that's genius, but there are lots of people that are genius. Okay? Genius is all around us. It's just the fact that it doesn't necessarily, the fact to become a renowned genius, and that takes some publicity. And people need to know that you're a genius more than the genius that's across the street. It's not getting any publicity. Alright? To be called a genius in the public world, you have to have recognition. Your work has to be noticed. Other than that, you're not going to be known at all. You'll just be another common man. And, I eventually realized that. So I put that being the smartest person in the world behind me. But I had to drastically teach myself a lot of things from the midpoint of starting that company, Cronsoft, to now. I utilized Google. I utilized YouTube. I taught myself physics. Just the conceptual part, of course. I taught myself physics, quantum mechanics, quantum entanglement, general relativity. I taught myself the whole particle physics, nuclear physics, cosmology, astrophysics, astronomy. I went to publications, writing, of course, computer science, programming, hacking. I can tell you the whole breadth of things I taught myself how to, not only how to do, but to know. This is something that every single person should do. If you want to be successful, you gotta incorporate the knowledge of that success. The internet is an awesome thing, because it's something that every single person can utilize. You can self-teach your things you don't learn in schools, because everything that I learned on the internet, I didn't learn in school. Or I eventually did learn in school, but I already knew it beforehand, so I knew the answers. Like, for example, in 7th and 8th grade science class, I would read ahead in the textbook. I would go on YouTube and look up, just all sorts of things, usually about the topic we're about to learn. So that by the time I get to that topic, I already knew it. So by 8th grade, I was already well ahead of the teacher. And if we were to learn something new, I will learn a new way to understand it. I approached it from one angle, and in school I approached it from another. Different perspectives, which is a good idea, by the way. If you want to be extremely good with something in life, not only approach it or learn it from your own perspective and from your own view or from your own route, learn it also from someone else's perspective. And then someone else's perspective, because everyone has different perspectives looking on certain things. We can look at the same thing and come down with different conclusions. There was a story where it was a farmer pulling a calf one day, right? Pulling the calf to help the baby come out. So a business person, a city guy came by, and he saw what this farmer was trying to do, and the farmer was like, "Hey, come here, help me with this." And then the business guy was like, "Me?" And the farmer was like, "Yeah, come here." So the business person, city guy, within the city, Wall Street, I should say, he hopped the fence and helped the farmer pull the calf out. And they had like this tool that they used to pull it out. So after a while, when they were finished and them both were going back in the barn to clean up, the business person was a little bit troubled and was a bit silent. And the farmer was like, "Man, boy, you've been quiet for the whole time. Are you okay?" And the farmer was like, "Yeah, the business person was like, "Yeah, I'm okay." He was a little bit confused. And the farmer was like, "What do you mean?" And the business person was like, "How far do you think that calf was going before he went into the behind of that calf, of that cow?" And the farmer was like, Hold it. You're getting mixed up with some collisions here. And you see, so from the farmer's perspective, right? Actually, from the farmer's view, he's trying to pull a calf because the calf's trying to give birth, right? But the business person, in his mind, the calf ran into the behind of the mother, right? Looking at the same thing, but you're coming down with different conclusions. And it's a story that was passed down from generation to generation in my family. It's kind of a funny story. Ironic, so I decided to use it for this particular talk. And it may not be the best analogy, but one of the good ones at least. And of course, again, you can look at different things, coming up with different conclusions. Best to know those different conclusions so you know what's the right one or what's the right approach to present the information. And so essentially, school became a huge tool and became something that honestly was a huge help because it kind of allowed me to learn different things from different perspectives when I never learned it beforehand. So starting a business today was actually, early this year, was easy because I had the background information. Question is though, how can you start your own company? Then being this is an entrepreneur talk. I've learned that there are two different types of entrepreneurs. There are those that just take the bare minimum enough to get by because they don't want to go far beyond that because they don't like a challenge, because they don't like hard things. They just want to make a success and then retire. And then you have those entrepreneurs that, they're going to continue to go up, and continue to rise up. Not only are they going to get that minimum, they also want to get that maximum. They want to exceed their own standards. Let's take Elon Musk, for example. When he sold PayPal, he became a multi-millionaire. But he didn't stop there. He could have retired. But he didn't think, he thought to himself, he knew that, he didn't think that, just laying around and doing whatever he wanted to do with all this money wasn't necessarily going to bring him happiness. He wanted to utilize his ability, his entrepreneurship, his business side of himself. And so, he found a SpaceX, he found a Tesla, he found a Solar City, he founded all these companies because he didn't strive for the bare minimum. He reached to the top. And now he's trying to get to Mars. He made the first rocket that could be reused, that could land, called the Grasshopper, I think. Right? Just imagine if he never had that mentality to go far beyond his own expectation. There would be no SpaceX, no Solar City, the electric car wouldn't have been carried out as far as it has been so far, right? And let's take Mark Zuckerberg also, for example. If he was that one entrepreneur that just wants the bare minimum, he could have sold Facebook for billions of dollars and would have lived off his wealth. But no, he kept it. He wanted to keep going. He wanted to see where the company would be, how it would go and evolve next, how it looked like when it reached the next level. Okay, You don't want to be that entrepreneur that just reached the minimum, makes the big B, or makes a millions of dollars, and then stops and then lives out that success. You want to be the entrepreneur that wants to continue pushing forward, that wants to keep going forward. You take that wealth, invest it to make a new company, to make much more, right? You want to keep going. You want to exercise your skill. Because your skill is going to go to no good if you just retire and live off that wealth. And then be in your 70s perhaps, and then you have this ultra cool idea, but by that time it's probably obsolete, or it's, it won't be carried out as well as had you done that many years earlier. Just saying. Not to put anyone down. But one thing they should understand is that there's a process. There's a process to this. And it's an easy process. This process is guaranteed to make you a successful business person. This process is guaranteed to help you start your company 100%. This is a process that I've developed. And actually it's a process that every single business person should use, and perhaps does use every single day, but they just don't realize that they're using it. It's called the IPDE for business. And it sounds familiar, yes. It's like driver's ed, the IPDE process that allows you to drive safely, right? It's not necessarily the same for business, the particular steps and how they're interpreted. I kind of retrofitted them, though the particular factors are a bit still the same. I mean, they're sort of the same in a way, because you're still driving, you're running a company. You're driving a company, basically. You're the driver. You're the one that's, that determines where the company goes next, like driving a car, right? But it's a little bit different. The IPDE for business stands for identify, predict, develop, and then execute. So how does this play into starting a business or running a company? We'll do both tonight. Let's say that you want to start a company. Well, alright, so that you just have the aspiration. Identify. You need to identify the purpose. Identify your idea. What is your idea? Let's say that you have this I know, for those of you that's walked with me through this whole tour, I know I keep using the antivirus software as an example, but, it's the best example I got. And plus, why not, right? So, let's say that you have this antivirus software idea, right, that you think is going to blow the water out of all the other softwares out there that are, that regard antivirus. It's going to blow all of them out of the water, and yours will be the best. So that's your idea. So you've identified an idea. So your purpose is to create software. So you've identified not only your idea and your purpose. Good. Next step, predict. How do you think this product will survive if it was launched in the market today? How do you think your company is going to do selling a software of this particular type? How do you predict that your company will stand against all the other companies that does software that regards the antivirus and anti-worms and anti-malware, right? This is where all your planning, this particular stage is where you start your planning. This is where you plan your company out. This is where the blueprints are laid on the table and you start to design how your company is going to be in the future. And this is where you start to predict the industry, the market. Does the market need another antivirus software? What will your software entertain that all the other softwares out there don't have? So what are the characteristics that your software is going to encapsulate that all these other softwares we may not have, right? That will make consumers buy your product. Because you want your product to stand out. You don't want your product just to blend in, because it'll just be another candy on the shelf. It'll just be another Hershey bar up on the shelf. It may be buy, it may not be. Maybe somebody will buy the Hershey bar right next to it because it may look a bit more pleasing, right? Your product has to stand out. Because if it doesn't, nobody's gonna buy your product. That I guarantee you. Or people just minimally buy it. It'll just be a minimum success. Again, you don't want to be that type of entrepreneur. You need to make sure that you strive for the top. You want your software to be the best. So predict how your company is going to go. You can also say the predict slash plan, right? So not only plan, not only not only predict, but plan it out. When you have your plan, simulate. Then this brings you then to your next stage. Develop. This is where you need to get angel investors. Put up collateral. This is where you need to get all the individuals that you know can help you write these codes, that you know could work with you. This is where you start to construct the foundation of your company. Much like I did with my company, the foundation was already there. You know, developing the company, finding the people to work for me was not a problem because they were already there. I just had to make sure that I had the right people, which I did. And so I started to, you know, talk to different people, start talking to the school. Right now, actually, Monday, I'm going to talk to one of the directors from the school district to talk about my company, to get us out there, right? And not only that, but even before, I talked to many different types of people, started getting deals, right? We have a CEO, the teacher that founded the company with me, or originally was a group, but now he agreed to start a company. He's now CEO. We've already developed the foundation. That's what you guys got to do with your company, potential company. Develop the foundation. Get all the individuals and get everything that you need to execute it, which will then bring you to your next stage, execution. You start to launch your company. Start making the product. Give it to individuals out there so that they can test it. Test your product before you put it out there in the market. And if you get good reviews, mass produce it. Start manufacturing it. And just see how well it does and see how well it goes. The amount of effort you put into it, you'll get back. So if you put a lot of effort into it, you're gonna get back good feedback. Sometimes though, you may not get the feedback that you want. But remember, failure is a stage of success. What's failure? Okay. What is failure without a little bit of success? What is success? Actually, I should say, without a little bit of failure. At least now you know the weakness of the software. You need to make it up. Either supplement, modify, retrofit, whatever you got to do to make the software better. And keep putting it out there. Version 2 instead of version 1. Version 16 instead of version 3. Make sure that your product keeps evolving and becomes better than it was before. Make sure that there are no bugs. Make sure it is the best program you have ever written. And guarantee you, you're gonna get the results that you really need. And again, this process can not only be used for starting up a company, but can also be used for business deals, for evolving your company, for running the company. Like I also use the example, if someone is offering you $1 billion for 0.3% ownership of your company, put it through the IPDE processes. Identify if this is really the best deal for you. Predict how this is going to benefit your company. Predict how this is going to reflect on your company's ethic and how this is going to reflect on your company's existence. Okay? And then decide. D could also be decide. It really depends on your situation. The situation that depends on how the processes get changed up a bit. But you need to start developing. You need to start deciding the necessary plans for this new type of share in your company. There's ownership. With $1 billion, you need you need to know what you're going to do with it. I mean, you may keep it for yourself, or you invest it back into your company. You need to you basically need to decide if this is the right thing for you. And then, of course, for execution, execute it. Your execution depends highly on the P stage and on the D stage. Okay, and it just cannot, not only can it be applied to that, but many other things. I can also be identify, for idea, P, predict, planning, D, develop, determine, decide, E, execute, endorse. It depends. It really depends on the situation of business. But this IPDE process, the necessary letters, will always come into play. Always. It's universal, that I can guarantee you. So I cannot stress this enough, that this process is going to help you. It really depends if you're willing to do it yourself. If you're willing to take that idea and put it out there. Or to take the effort and put it into your idea. Because if you don't do it, then you're not going to have it. You wanted to start a company, you better run it like a company. And you better make sure that you put in the effort necessary for that company to exist. Okay? One other tip before I close, I want to give to every single person here. Let's say that your company was a success. Let's say that everything went well for you and your colleagues, your coworkers, board of directors. Everything was perfect. And you say that you're like a Microsoft, and the Microsoft or like another Apple, right? Let's say that you want to be the best company out there. Let's say that let's put forth a scenario. Let's say that you're a major retailer of stuff. Let's say books. Okay? Let's say that you're a major retailer of books. If the way that you sell those books is more efficient than going to the bookstore and get that book, or going to the library and get it, eventually those companies are not going to make as much money. They're going to start losing customers, and they're eventually going to go bankrupt. Are you going to let that happen? As you being the giant, that you face them out, are you going to let them fail? There's a quote that was given to me by one of my mentors. And that's another thing you need to have, mentors. Oh, I forgot to mention. This is the most important part. Mentors are extremely important. You need individuals like mentors to teach you the way of business, to teach you the game of business. So that when you apply the IPDE process, right, for business, you'll know the way of the game, so you'll know how to use that to your advantage. You can also use that as a secret weapon. Okay, so extremely important. But anywho, so you need to take, so what are you gonna do? So, I was on my train of thought there. I'm so excited. This quote. Anyway, so this mentor, he told me this quote, and he told me this when I was just starting out. He was like, courtesy is a business asset. I gain it and not a loss. Courtesy is a business asset. I gain, not a loss. So if you're that retailer, what are you going to do? Let those companies go bankrupt? Okay, you'll decrease competition, but, where's the fun in that? I mean, I always tell people, that run businesses, you don't want to phase out every single individual that's against you. You want some competition so you're continuously innovating. You're always, sharpening your edges. You're always getting better, because if you have no competition, you're not going to innovate as much as you did had there been, or when there was competition, right? I'm just saying, you always want some type of competition so that you have some type of motivation, a motive to keep innovating, to keep getting better. But say that there is a business about to go out because of you. Buy them out. Don't let them fail. Buy them. Get those employees to work for you so that they still have jobs. And that's a huge, huge, huge positive outlook on you. Huge. Buy them out. Don't let them fail, because you could use them to your advantage. I mean, just look at what was it? I think it was, let's see here. I don't remember if it was Yahoo or I forgot, some company that bought PayPal, right? They bought them out. They made a huge, huge gain from that. Don't quote me on that. I'm going to check that and come back to later, and before I start my next talk, if granted some of you are there, I'm going to say, correction, this editor, but don't quote me on that. But I'm just gonna say it because I'm not quite sure, but it's what's on my mind right now. So when Yahoo bought PayPal, or when whatever corporation out there bought PayPal, they had a huge gain from that. Because it was good on their image because they didn't let that company fail. And those founders, Elon Musk and Peter Thiel, they benefited a lot from that. They really did benefit from that. Yahoo was being courteous. Whatever that corporation was being courteous. And didn't let them fail. But this is a business asset because not only is this good on your side of publicity, but also good for business as well. So it's a win-win. Never forget it. Buy out those companies that are about to go bankrupt because of your presence. And also take it as a way in which your company is doing badass. Because you're putting them out of business. That's badass. That means your company is doing well. So look at that. A triple win. Hitting three birds with one stone. Alright? I'm small. My company is small, but I know a lot. Enough to know. And when my company gets that level, when my company gets that level, I'm going to buy them out. Even if they're not doing well, I'm going to offer a huge amount of money to buy them out if I know that they're going to go bankrupt eventually. That's just how I am. So, make sure that courtesy is up there with the IPDE. This must be followed. Thank you.